volleyball in Uganda and across Africa and the entire world. This is the third episode that we are running, and we are pleased to be in company of one of the better coaches that we have in this country. She's our guest today, and we'll be getting to hear from her about her preparation for the Zone 5 and how ready Ugandan teams are. That is the topic for this episode. We are going to majorly look at the chances that we have as a country going into the Zone 5 Club Championship. On the line, we'll be having George APORU, who is the captain of the NEMO Stars, but also the Uganda Volleyball Cranes. He'll be telling us about a little bit about himself and then Zone 5. For those that might be interested in his personal journey, he will share a little bit, but most of the focus is going to be on the Zone 5. And I have, of course, Malik Damulira. You're going to see him a lot more on this panel because he's the co-host of the show. And today we have Madam Memory Dube, who is a coach at Sportes and one of the coaches that you have to look at in Uganda at the moment. Was in the finals of the league last season, and I don't think you can take that for granted. So, Coach Memory, welcome to Volleyball Extra. Good afternoon, and how have you been?
Thank you, EMANZI. Thank you for inviting me to the show. It's a very hot afternoon. Yeah, but I'm okay. I've been well. I'm looking forward to the Zone 5 Club Championships, which are going to be my first actually in Uganda.
Yeah. How have you been? I know there are many people that see you on the touchline. They've seen you in KBC. Now they see in Sportes, but they don't know who Memory is. So if I would give you just 2 minutes or less than that to tell the viewer who Memory Dube is and how you actually get into coaching volleyball. Did you start at a young age? Did you play the game before that? I know that for most Ugandans, they've seen you on the touchline and they don't know about your past in the game of volleyball.
Thank you. I will try to summarize it because my story is always long. Yeah. My name is Memory Dube. Obviously, as you all know me, Coach Memza. That's what most people call me. And I come from Zimbabwe, in case some other people don't know where I come from. My volleyball journey started at high school when I was chucked out of the netball team. So that's how I then went to volleyball. And that same week, I happened to then make it to the team. And that's how it started. I think I was 14. Yeah, and then I played for several clubs in Zimbabwe. But also the highlight, obviously, being playing for the national team as a setter and as a libero at some point in my life. And then I played for clubs like Highlanders Volleyball Club and Panthers Volleyball Club as well in Zimbabwe. I also coached my biggest coaching career, maybe that I'll mention, is the University of Zimbabwe, which are called the UZ Wolves, that featured in the African Club Championships in 2018 and 2019. And then after that, I made my journey of coaching to Zambia, where I coached Chalube Volleyball Club. And then I found myself here. I'm a PE teacher, by the way. So in case people are wondering where is the sports love coming from, I'm a PE teacher. I'm a sports scientist. That's what I studied at university. So basically, after I retired from playing, that's when I started coaching. And interestingly, I was coaching mostly male teams until this year when at Sportes I'm with the ladies as well. But also we do both, but I'm mostly with the ladies at Sportes Volleyball Club.
Okay, so of course someone would want to know, did you come from Zimbabwe to come to Uganda to coach volleyball, or what is your journey like we don't have many people that leave their countries to come and coach volleyball in Uganda. So how do you get to Uganda in the first place, and how do you connect with Ugandan volleyball?
Yeah, definitely coming here to coach would be a bit too ambitious. We know our kind of sports that is a growing industry in Africa. So I came to Uganda to do a sports teaching job as a sports director at a school called Acacia International School, which is in Muyenga, where I lead the sports department, and we relate with other international schools when we play sport. Then I was introduced to Ugandan Volleyball Association by my childhood coach called Tulani Maposa. who had met Tony, our TD. Yeah, and then obviously they introduced me to Sheila, they introduced me to volleyball clubs, and that's how I ended up with the Volleyball Federation and the volleyball family of Uganda. Yeah.
And of course, for those who don't know, Memory is now an assistant coach with the national team. That is the men's team. And was in the finals with KVC last season. Didn't manage to win the title, but I believe she won many hearts out there. Next to her is Malik. Malik told us his story last week, and I believe everyone now knows who he is. He's a coach with Sportes. He's a player. He's a coach with Sportes ladies. He's a player with the Sportes men's team, and was part of the team that played in the Zone 5 the last 2 editions. So he knows one or two things about this competition. Malik, good afternoon and welcome to the show yet again.
Yeah, good afternoon, EMANZI. Thank you so much. And welcome viewers to another episode of Volleyball Extra. It is really very good to see that we are always here every Thursday to just talk about volleyball.
Yeah. And this is something that we've dedicated specifically to volleyball. So if you're on that Sportes Volleyball Club channel on YouTube, please endeavor to subscribe, like the content that you find there, and share with any other person that you think might be interested in content related to Ugandan volleyball, but also continental volleyball. Because as we speak, you can be sure that all the attention will be on Uganda starting next week as we host the Zone 5 Club Championship. The two people I have here come from one camp, that is Sportes. But on the line, we are going to be joined by George APORU, who is the captain of NEMO Stars Volleyball Club, but also the captain of the national team. That is the Volleyball Cranes. I don't know if he's able to hear me, but George, if you can hear me, good afternoon and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, man. I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. Unfortunately, I want to start by apologizing that I failed to make it to the venue.
That's fine. At least we have you here. Yeah, so we're going to talk to George. The connection has been tricky a little bit, and that's why we had to start this a bit late. But we'll try to make sure that we have him to tell us one or two things about Zone 5 and his team's preparations. So, George, I don't know if you can hear me. Maybe we'll get straight to the point and you tell the viewers how ready you are as NEMO Stars as we gear up to the competition. It's just a few days left, 6 to be specific, and the competition will be starting. How prepared is NEMO Stars for this?
Yeah, first of all, to say a big to pull this off, bringing the Zone 5 home. That is something we shouldn't take for granted as the volleyball fraternity in Uganda. And I'm sure it is going to be quite a good sight for very many of us. I'm hoping that equally the home teams will put up a very beautiful show so that the fans are very excited with what we have. Speaking direct to NEMO Stars, we are final touches on how we should present ourselves, and I'm sure by day 6 or day 7, when it's competing, we'll be in good shape to put out a good show and a good defense for the game of volleyball that we want to enjoy.
Okay, thank you so much, George. And I know that this competition is also very important for you guys because you have plans of playing the Africa Club Championship. And this competition is going to bring some serious competition from the neighboring countries, say Rwanda, South Sudan, and obviously teams from here locally. How big is this tournament for you guys in relation to preparation for the Africa Club Championship?
That the event is going to just a few days or months, if it is before the Africa Club Championship. One, because it gives us chance to test ourselves against different opponents in the region, and we believe that once we take part in this event, we'll have very many to play as matchup for the championship. I must add that the last time it was on 5, I think that was in 19, if I got that right. Have been the year when we had one of our best displays at the continent. And I must add also that the different exposure, because we play the Ugandan every other time, the Ugandan teams. Now, when you get to play the foreign opponent, then that is something which will be something like a precursor or a test to where we want to go. So, very good opportunity for us, and we take it up with open hands.
Okay, and when you look at the teams that we have as a country, I mean, NEMO Stars, inclusive, Sportes, UCU, KVC, and all the other teams, you might look at these teams as well. What would you say are our chances? How do you rate our chances when you look at the teams that have already confirmed? There are about 20 teams that have already confirmed that they will be in Kampala. When you look at that playing field, how do you rate our chances as Uganda of actually having these trophies stay home?
We have a very high chance. First, we at home, so we have the home advantage. I'm expecting that, irrespective of who will be playing, be it Nemo Stars, Fortes, or KVC, and irrespective of the gender, given that we are in Kampala, we shall support our team, irrespective of where you affiliate to while we are playing our local competition. Until that point when we get to match up against one another, then we can maybe take sides. In terms of, again, saying how good is the chance, I must say that we have very good talent at home. We have very good talent here. The only thing that usually brings doubt in people's minds is the fact that we are not playing a professional, not even semi-pro. But when you go out to look at the level of play or competition, you realize that we are very good. And if we had an opportunity to even play at semi-pro for more than one or two teams, then you definitely one day believe that we are a very good country with very good and beautiful talent. And so I expect that one or two of our teams will be in the final, at least for the men, and for the ladies categories, I believe we also have a chance at least to put up a good show. One of our teams equally should be in the final.
the importance of that person that is in the stands.
Thank you, Emanzi. And it is actually one of the questions that I wanted also to send out to George, asking him what might actually limit the Ugandan teams from winning this trophy.
Yeah.
Me, I might say one of the things was actually that crowd there. Yeah, that crowd that was in the BK Arena, it limited us from winning. Why? Because everyone, I might say almost everyone, or 99% of the crowd was rallying behind police. And just the 1%, like Coach Edward Wenje, who was here, I think they are in the 0.0 for the 1% of the fans that's making fun, making
trying to take on the entire.
But we couldn't even hear him anymore. Yeah, during the semi-final, somehow the teams, people were actually not knowing where they should support, because some teams were supporting Sportness.
Teams from Rwanda that didn't want to play
in the finals. Yeah,
thought maybe Sportness might
be a better option. So maybe they also thought that if they meet Sportness in the finals, they would have a bigger crowd behind them, which was actually true. And I'm thinking that, like, we are here in Kampala, if actually we rally behind our teams, we stand a big chance in also actually staying with this home, because I don't think we shall have any limitations, because technically we can match up these teams. And I think they might have a few players that are a bit better, but we have the talents, because for them, I think they've most of these teams, especially from Rwanda, Sudan, Kenya. I think Kenya, they are doing well also in their league. And it is very interesting to see how actually Kenya Pipeline will be playing against our ladies teams here. And that is one of the excitements I actually have, to see how much can we test ourselves against teams like Kenya Pipeline. And I think it will be good for the ladies' side, and I have a lot of expectations of the Ugandan teams on the ladies' side, because I feel like they are playing well. We have teams that are playing well, though we are a little bit short of small technical things. But I'm really interested to see how much shall we play and what we can do there.
Yeah, I know I'm receiving a lot of messages talking about the sound of the link, but we have a very able team in the background, and I'm sure that will be worked upon as we continue with the conversation. By now it should be really good, but I see there are so many people that have already started commenting on this, and one of them is Mark Musim was saying, I imagine Chaze Fahad supporting Nemo Stars and myself screaming for KBC. So it might sound weird, but we've got to do that as a nation. I think if KBC get there, then we've got to do that. But to the two of you that in here, I will relate you to Sporters. I know that mainly the women's team, but Malik plays for the men. If maybe we could start from here, how prepared Memza is Sporters when you look at let's look at the men's team, for example, lost the last two matches. Is that a good wake-up call going into a competition like this, or is it I know there are a few fans that are now worried and scratching their heads wondering what could have happened. The team was in very good form, then just a week to zone 5, and the team is not winning matches. They had lost only 2 sets in the first round. Now in the second round, they have already lost 2 games. So how confident should they be going into the tournament?
I think one thing that I'll say that will relate to the first question that we were talking about when we spoke to George, and you also asked for our views, is how prepared is Uganda? I think if I look at it, I'm like, sporters are really prepared, and obviously preparations go on until you get onto the court. But I'd love to make a reference to the fact that how prepared we is the fact that first of all we got that wake up call, you know, to say here you are, you're gone for several games, you haven't been beaten, but here is the homework for you as you've gone for zone 5. We've lost 2 games. However, let me refer to the fact that we've lost to also 2 of the clubs that are also going to be playing zone 5. So for me, that shows the level of competition actually. If you think about it, KCCA were not last year in the final 4, but here they're beating us, but we're still giving them that kind of competition. So basically it's preparations underway, but also showing that we are getting all the gears up, and obviously we still have homework to polish up a few things, but definitely the team coming back from zone 5 last year, they know how it's like. It's not like we're talking about a team that it's going to be their first time, like they're making a debut. You know, we're talking about a team that has a silver medal. So I think for us as sporters, it's really a huge task in terms of where we are right now. For us, it feels like more like we are the ones definitely that have to get that 99% and come up for the country and represent the country very well.
Yeah, and Malik, of course, for you have played in the last 2 editions of this competition, and you know the sort of challenge that is there. And maybe to note that the sports team that was in Kigali that made the finals in 2023 was obviously not their best team, because there are many players that were not able to travel for different reasons, especially related to work. When you look at that team of last year and now, of course, also key to note that some of the players that played well at that time have since moved on, and mainly playing in Rwanda. Angiro, who was playing for Sportes in that tournament, is now in Rwanda playing for REG. Thorn is also playing for REG. Marino has just joined Kepler. When you look at the team that you have now, and I mean under the circumstances, do you feel like you go into the tournament a little bit in the same way that you were last season? The fact that you didn't have your best team, but still went in and made a statement.
Thank you, Manzi. Usually, a team will always lose players.
Yeah.
And one of the things you have to do is move on.
Yeah.
I can assure you that in 2019, the team I was part of that played that championship, we had only about 4 players. Actually, we had only 3 players. I think it was Otim, me, and Muludi who were present for the previous championship. So you might ask yourself, the team that was that represented Sportes in 2019, it was missing so many players. Will they represent this time for this championship? With just only 3 players who had the experience of the previous
and
championship.
They did play that many minutes. For if you to look at your team, he was not starting.
Exactly.
Yourself and Mururi were coming off the bench as well.
Exactly.
And, the core of the team was, of course, much younger, but also kids that have just come into the team after that. So in that regard, how much confidence do you take into this championship on the back of course, the 2 losses that we've had?
I always have confidence in the players that are at Sportes Volleyball Club, especially the men's side, because I believe everyone who's at this team, they know what it means to actually play for our team and play such prestigious tournaments. And I can assure you the players are of good quality. And despite losing out also quality players that we had in that championship, I think those are 3 players who we lost out previously. That is Thorn, Angiro, and Marino. And also a few players that we had added in. I think we had also Mustafa from our Tigers state. By the way, and Banzuma. We always have our players representing from our younger team. And even hopefully this time we'll see another face reappear in the Sportes men's team.
Did well. He needs another shot.
and basically now we always have that transition from a previous team to another team. There's no team that stays the same every championship. There are very, very few. And this time around, I think also the crop of players we have, we are ready, and we shall get there. If we usually have there are ups and downs in the team, and people are worried that these two losses we've had, they are actually so much worried that Sports might not put up any show. I am telling you, in 2019, we had the weakest team on paper. Even when we were playing against the Rwandese teams, we were the shortest, but we made it up to get actually a bronze from there. It is not something special that you look at a team and you're like, this team is weak, but the strategies they use to come up and play, they are the ones that matter a lot.
And Coach Memory, as a PE teacher and sports scientist, of course, a tournament and a league are two different things. That how you go into a tournament, you might come and you're the strongest, you lose the first two matches and you're out of the tournament. So is that enough to give you guys confidence going into the tournament, knowing that you don't really, you know, it is not a marathon, but you can actually sprint and actually maybe get a good group. You're lucky, go to the next round and get a good road to the final, and before you know it, you're in the final. So is it much easier, this being a tournament of just a few days?
I think it's both ways, but you know, in the journey of sports, you always know that some of the things you're going to play, some of the games, you're going to play them as tournaments. And with tournaments, it's a kind of a different psyching up, EMANZI. It's not like you have the whole week to go back to training and correct everything that went wrong during that particular day when you're playing. So I think it kind of makes the job much more easier, but also at the same time a bit harder, because then it means you need players that are mentally strong. It also means you have players that know and listen to tactical advice. But I think if we're talking about sporters, I see that, because like I said, that most of like half the team has already played at that level. And if you look at the upcoming ones, there are those who are very eager, who are very keen, and they easily take in information. But looking at other clubs in Uganda, I'm looking at NEMO Stars. I think also almost 3/4 of the team have that experience. I'm looking at KCCA, and some of them as well have played for national team. So I think I would say it's 3/4 an easy job to play at this tournament, and I think it makes it easier to just play a game and you go back and reflect and easily commit to changing a few things the next day. So I think for us as sporters, we are ready in that regard. We're ready knowing that we have psyched up the players in that regard as well, because it's very mental. It's very mental, more than the playing aspect. It's mental. It's how they recover that night. It's also what they do. So I'm hoping that all the clubs that are representing Uganda, we know that it's a marathon. We know that there's little time to get to have that time to talk to the players and prepare regarding the next game.
Tournaments are tough, that's for sure. I know that we've traveled for tournaments, especially Rwanda, and there are teams that are out of the tournament before the opening ceremony. You know, those tournaments where the opening ceremony is in the evening. So you arrive in the morning, they give you like 2 matches, and you have another one to complete the group. You lose the first 2 matches before the opening ceremony, you're out of the competition. But thank you all who have joined us online. I see there's good numbers on the stream, and we would like that. Send in your comments or questions, so we'll be able to throw them at the people I have here, or George across. I don't know if George is able to hear me, because I want to cross to him and get his side of the story on the part of NEMO Stars. How are the preparations like, first of all, and what sort of mindset do you take into the tournament? What is special that you're doing? Are you going to camp? Are you going into camp like the rest of the teams that are coming from out of the country, or are you going to be coming from home? What are the special arrangements for the Zone 5 tournament that starts next week on Wednesday?
Yeah, I hope you can hear me.
George, I hope you're able to hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Did you get the question?
Yes, I did. Now we are in high spirit. One of the things that we're going on is that many of us, or a number of us, have played outside outside the country before, at least outside within East Africa, and that is something we want to ride on. And just to add to what the panelists they are saying, that one of the biggest advantages we have that we at home, but also people or the players, a number of players have tested playing outside this country, and that is something that goes a long way. And just to differ from Malik, is that if a team is to get better, the longer people are together, the better. You will be surprised when you look good on paper, and yet you have about 3 or 5 people who have never played, and they will get in shock when they start playing. It is easier when you have people who have been together longer. They might display very interesting volleyball compared to what people would think, even when they don't look good on paper. As NEMO Stars, we want to have the best preparation, and we are working around to ensure that we can have our players in camp. That is how much we value the tournament. We know we are at home, and ideally everybody would be coming from home. But with the fact that we want to win, we want to take care of all the possible issues that can come up and guide our players and ensure that we are in one place, thinking the same, eating the same, and doing things together. So in terms of preparation outside the court, we are doing all we can to ensure that that happens. Of course, it still remains a challenge for us, because then we are planning for tournaments which are back to back, and so it's quite a strain, but we are giving it our best. The training on court, that one, yes, like Memory has said, there's been a difference in how we are playing. The first one was when we got to meet, we played Sportes. Now, for me, Sportes is my biggest competitor in Uganda. And the way we played showed that we had made strides from our last outing. And we continued to improve on what we are doing. And we are hoping that by Zone 5, we'll be able to display even much better volleyball.
Okay, thank you so much, George, and thank you all everyone that is joining us online. I see there are many, and I'm going to read a few of your comments. 256 volleyball says, "Where is George APORU?" He's somewhere, and I think we were able to get him at least now. We were able to connect properly. Pro Lane Volleyball Academy says, "Guys, thanks for the program." Ojala Andrew says, "Online like a monitoring spirit." Ojara again says, I think the sound has been sorted now, so it should be very fine. Alex Mugoda was also complaining about the audio, that should be sorted now. Kasim Jr. Opejo says, relay behind is the key word. Well said, Malik. Then Mugasha Edwin says the sound is good now. That's good to know. Franklin says, "Emanzi, if KVC get where?" KVC will be playing in the zone 5. I don't know why you people don't believe in our teams. Ojala Andrew says all fans should show up so that we also make a lot of noise for the foreign teams. Yes, I think we need to support Ugandan teams. Same Peter Joseph Mary says, "I'll be there, but Andrew's noise alone will make the indoor a no play and win zone for foreign teams, especially the ones from Rwanda." Hanifa Nantale says, "I'm tuned in." says, is there Zone 5 free entrance? No. This I know for sure. It will not be free. There's a press conference on Monday, and it was communicated that you'll be paying 10,000 shillings for to access games for each day, and that is at Lugogo or Old Kampala. You have to choose one venue where you go, pay 10k and watch. So there's no free entrance, and you should not watch free sports. You need to support these people who play and entertain us. Then Abu says, I think it was responding to Hanifa, says ngabakwebazaaki. So yeah, we will have to pay. Bernard Baruku says, I have my question, but I think they are for the organizing committee. Questions like the lighting in Lugogo and Old Kampala. Those issues. By now, if that has not been sorted, I don't know what will be done between now and next Thursday. I can't agree more on the issue of consistently playing together. I think this one is referring to George's comment about the experience and having players that have played together for a while and how helpful it is in such tournaments. Kemet Gold says, how do we apply for media accreditation? Are you a journalist? Because they sent out a link sometime this week. You should have seen it by now. But if you haven't, get in touch. I can share it, or get in touch with Daniel Okwi, who is the head of Media Zone 5. Eric Mondo says we shall be there all the way from Lira to the Indo. Thank you for watching. Edwin Kule says, I'm following closely. Thanks for the show. This is Emmanuel Mwaka says, are there chances that UVF can slot in KCCA? They have really showed us what's up. I think KCCA were interested in playing Zone 5. I don't know if they have finally sorted that with the authority to allow them to actually play in the Zone 5. But last I checked, the KCCA men were not yet on the list. So I don't know. Alex Mugoda can confirm with us because I see he's on the stream. He can confirm if KCCA are ready and pumping up for Zone 5. But ladies and gentlemen, we can't thank you enough for sparing your time. I know that we are in the final stretch of this show. Remember last week I asked these people Ugandan players that they're excited about going into the tournament. I don't know if you have a few from any of the clubs that are going to play. Players that you think this is the tournament for them to shine and market them. If you're a player out there, this is like a market day. So it's your chance to come and show us your goods. So you never know. You never know what could happen. But I don't know. Whom are you excited about the most? You could give us a few names that people should look out for.
Yeah, I've got an exciting name, but then I know me and you will know something about that name because we had a conversation. I'm excited to see what Duke is going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, obviously coming from my club, I've spoken to him. I've seen his performance the previous matches, yeah. You know, where he comes from, where he's reflecting on his performance and the performance that we know. So I'm excited to see how he mentally takes this this competition up. I think I'm also excited to see the young man Esau from NEMO. I'm a big fan of young players. I think by now most people already know the sentiments that I have. I'm excited to see how he plays as well. And I think I'm also excited about Agaba, the Sportus Libero. Last year he put up a good show and everyone was like, oh my goodness, who is this? I don't know if you remember that.
He was the actually he has the title for the best libero in Zone 5, if you remember from the previous editions. I think, and the fact that we were playing in Kigali, I think it was too easy for them. If you look at this tarmac, where our league is played, look at the surface in Lugogo. The moment he saw that surface in the BK Arena, and I think he said there is no ball that is going to land on my side. So he put up a good show, and again, this is another chance for him to shine. Yeah, you talked about Duke, and for me, I think the for you to know a good player, it's how they show up when the stakes are high. And I think that's he did that. He has had that one game, and no disrespect to all the other teams, but that one game against Nemo Stars in the first round, where he came off the bench and really made a difference. But then I think that it's been hot and cold, hot and cold. There are not very many big matches, honestly, in our league. So it is understandable that people are going to judge you on how you play against Nemo Stars, how you recently, of course, KCCA, and I think the potential is right there for all to see. And like I said, market day. In the village, they take the goats to the market. You show them off. People will come and buy if your goat is good. So the goods for these guys is the talent that they actually have. So you go, and if you can be the best defender in the tournament, you never know where you could end up. But I think because we have a guest that is George, and then Malik that plays for the Sporters team, it's very easy to drive the conversation to the men's side and forget about the ladies. But we have the defending champions, KCB Nkumba, that are not really doing well, or as well as people expected, because of the players that they lost after the start of the season. I don't know what sort of tournament you expect them to have, and maybe we could discuss the importance of making additions for a tournament like this. Sportes added Angiro when they were going to Chigali, and he was one of the good players in that tournament. So, Malik, if I could start with you, how important is it to have additions made? That if you're Sportes and maybe you think Agaba is a good libero but might need someone to help, maybe you go to Ndeji and get Happy and put him into the team. How important is that? Not just for the team to win, but for Ugandan volleyball, because there are many good players that will not have a chance because their teams are not featuring in the tournament. So how important are these additions when you look at it from the broader perspective?
Thank you, Emanzi. The first one, it is evident. The addition that Spotes made for Angiro, I think it was a very big step for him as a player, because the performance he put up while he was playing for Spotes in Chigali, I think he really showcased what kind of talent he is, and that one marketed him so much. And perhaps if he had a lesser deal to do, the deal went higher, or the stakes were now really high. So just to put our players out there and promote their talents, and also be seen. A player might be so good, but when they are not actually playing for your club, so this doesn't mean that you actually limit their chances of showing what they can really do. Maybe that is the chance they've been waiting for, and it is a big step when they have the chance to play in such tournaments. But however, Emanzi, my interest that is so much in this zone 5. I want to look at the ladies teams.
Yes.
Because actually people are putting a lot of focus on the men's team. Yes.
You'll be shocked when a Ugandan women's team comes from nowhere and takes the title.
I feel like you cut me short. I was more excited about the women. I hadn't finished. So then you're like,
he's gone.
Yeah, because I wanted to tell you my excitement about the ladies' sides. You know, starting at Sporters, there's Hillary. I don't know if people know one lady called Hillary. You know, there's Renata Kamahoro. But I've also seen a KCCA in the middle called Akanyu. You know, so I'm always out and about just watching other teams, watching how they play. I think there's also one lady from Ndeje. I always forget her name.
Pearl?
Yes, Pearl.
Yeah,
so I'm really also excited about the women's teams as well. Honestly, Emanzi, you know, them having the platform and them having to get to play at home. I know KCCA already had that opportunity, but the other teams in the ladies' side, it's like it has come home, you know. So I do, and I'm hopeful that our ladies are just gonna give it all and leave it all here. But I'm also feeling positive, like Malik, about our women's teams.
Yeah, and of course for the women, I think it is important to note that in Rwanda, for example, you have the best middle blocker in the league, Sharon Amito.
Yeah.
She's from Uganda. Catherine Ainembabazi, one of the reasons police did not win the league last season is because she got injured late in the season. Just recently, they've come and taken Hadija Otin, who was in Nkumba, now playing in East Africa University, right there in Rwanda. And I think that shows you that we are not short of talent. The talent is there, but how we take care of it, maybe I think that's what you have to look at. But Malik, if you could paint a picture for us, at what level do you think our women are? When you look at Kathy, Amito, now of course you have Hadija Otin that has joined that league. Before you had Habiba Nama playing there, Margaret Namiaro had been there as well. When you look at the current crop of players that we have, how many do you think a scout would come and actually look at and is able to pick up?
Thank you. Right now we have very many young talented players on the girls in the girls side. Because I'll not say women because I see most of
Most
them
are young.
they are young. She was already mentioning the players such as Agnes Akanyo, the center blocker for KCCA, because you know we also have Akanyo Agnes in the Spotted side, so you have to be specific. She's one of those.
And they play the
big
same
talents.
position.
Yeah, and they must play the same positions.
Yeah.
The players such as Paula Kakunda, she's still mentioned on. Also on our Spotted side, we have so many young players that are really promising and they are eye-catching. And that is where my interest as a coach, I'm like, what can these young girls do, because they are still so young. And recently we also saw KCCA adding so many young players. Some of them I do not know their names, but I think they have shown the capacity that they can do it. They had a player who was previously in Indeje. I think right now she's the receiver attacker there, and she played the previous match they played against was it UCU?
Yes, against UCU.
She really came on court and made a difference. She's a tall player, strong, and she has the skill. And in such tournaments, you need such players to come up and really show what can they do, the confidence they can, the championship can give them. Because this is the second time actually the ladies will be playing Zone 5. Because the first edition in 2019 there was no any women's team. It was completely men.
Yeah.
The whole
then
championship.
KCCA were
Then
able
the
to make
edition,
the trip last time.
KCCA made it to the trip, but only one Ugandan team.
Yeah.
And one Kenyan. Then the rest of
the rest were home teams.
They were home teams.
Yeah.
This time around, having 5 teams represent our country at that level, it is something special. Actually, I don't want to forget the VVC player, that is Kate. Yeah,
Kate Yaluka.
Yeah, she's going to be playing this championship for the second time. And I think the first edition which the women were in, she really did great. And at this point in time, whereby she's I might say the host of the team.
Yeah, she's getting more playing time. First of all.
And the person that her team VVC is actually holding the shoulder on.
Yeah.
I am thinking she will do something that people will actually identify her and they're like, she is really a good player.
Yeah, and
so there are so many of these young girls that we are excited to see.
Yeah.
And let's see what they can do.
I think Katie's potential is right there, and you can see it. If for those who watch the Genocide Memorial Tournament, Mems, I think you are there.
Yeah.
Katie is one of the Ugandan players who actually played in that tournament. I think she played for East Africa University as well. But the deal did not become permanent, but she's getting a lot more playing time with BBC than she got at KCCA. So I'm going to look to go to George and conclude with him, just to paint a picture for the Nemo Stars fans of what Nemo want from this. Do you go into it as a way of preparing for the Africa Club Championship? Do you want to win it all? And what should the Nemo Stars fans expect from this team?
Uh, before I respond you what you're asking, I want us to move the conversation away from winning, especially for for many of our teams. Take an example, the ladies. I'm just excited. Very many of these players are going to get to play volleyball outside Uganda. It is going to be a whole new experience. For some who have had a chance to play, for example, against the Kenyans, you're going to realize that they will be in shock. That if they think they are attacking hard, then they are going to see ladies who are attacking like some of our men, who, when you dump, they say that is an attack. So for me, I'm just excited, and I want that we actually move the conversation away from winning, but rather just endeavor to have our players appreciate what it means to play at this level. The rest of the results, we want our players playing more of such competitions. Because if you're playing once, then you play after another 5, you possibly play volleyball at a high level once, and that is not good for the sport. So again, the opportunity is very good, very impressive, and I want the young athletes, or all the athletes out there, to take up the come and showcase the talent, not to prove a point, but rather to enjoy and see that they are playing well. Nemo Stars, speaking Nemo Stars now, yes, we are coming to compete. We want the champion, and that is our main objective. However, if the championship doesn't come into our camp, that is also not a problem. And so going into this Zone 5, we are going into what we are going to present at the Africa Club Championship. Because while we are expecting to have more also competition, and this is going to be a test for us, going to be like a mock exam. And mock exam usually can seem hard, but also helps you gauge whether you're ready or not. But also, I just want to hands out there that yes, we've all confirmed for the Africa Club Championships. Now, Nemo Stars has an uphill task again to go to the Africa Club Championships, where we shall be representing Uganda. And during the competition, as we support, I urge all those who can chip in financially to come and throw 1 or 2 coins in the Nemo Stars basket, such that you see our team go play at the continent. This is not about Nemo Stars per se. This is about the Ugandan talent we are trying to develop, and that's somebody doing. If Nemo Stars can go today, that means anybody else, any other team should be able to go out there, and we, as the lovers of volleyball, should support whoever is running for the good cause of the game. So, come Zone 5, Nemo Stars wants to play good volleyball. We want the championship, but also want all our volleyball lovers and fans to come and support in the fundraising drive that we shall be partaking. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe one of the titles I forgot to mention about George is that he's the general secretary of Nemo Stars. So I think at the end there he spoke like one, calling upon everyone that is able to support the cause for the team to go to Libya for the Africa Club Championship. Whatever you can, please reach out to Nemo Stars and put something into that contribution box I think we are coming to the end of this, but the comments are quite many. Alex Mugoda, this is the coach of KCCA, says this is home. Let's work together as Uganda, not Nemo Stars, not Sportes, not UCU, but Uganda. It's a chance that we may not get again. And if you have watched volleyball in other countries, no one will support a team from elsewhere. So support Ugandan teams. Gorowa Nixon says, I'm Team Sportes, but give Chachuse Frank an opportunity to play on the A team. He's incredibly amazing. I think this is a message to you, Coach Memory, and and Malik, and the entire coaching team. Someone has spotted a player who has the potential.
Yeah.
Bernard Baruku says, what is bringing Onapa down? This is Onapa, the person we coached at KVC. I don't know if you have a comment on that. You've seen his performances lately.
I honestly think Onapa, I mean, for the season that I was at KVC, I thought for me, Onapa had proven himself to be a starter. So maybe the coach might have different plans, but I think him starting on the bench, maybe it's taking a toll in him mentally, because we've seen whenever he comes, I think most of the games I've observed, he does make a difference. Honestly, we cannot take that for granted. So I'm not sure how his mental state is regarding that. He's no longer a starter in the team, yet the few times that he comes in, he really shows that he still has it in him. But I think maybe as of this moment, all he needs is just an encouraging team and just his club to rally behind him. I also still believe Onapa is a good player.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt his talent. And again, this is an opportunity for him to showcase what he's got. Ojala Andrew says Duke is great, but he should manage his emotions when things aren't working out. That is Ojala. Abu says Ojala Andrew, mental flexibility comes with exposure. Duke is still a tot with regard to the real definition of exposure. And I think this will be his first big step, the zone 5, and he's got to embrace it. Bernard Baruku says, all team Nemo Stars for his glory. Nicholas Kunsa says, Nemo, let's go. Abaro Caroline says, Sports for life. Abu says he is the only double champion captain still standing, Emanzi. Sadat Waguma says, for ladies, I don't think much focus should be put on winning. It should be completely exposure. That is the comment from Sadat. And very many comments that we've got today. The other time we were not able to get these comments and read them, but we were able to do that today. And this will mark the end of our conversation today. Malik, I'll give you two people the chance to say your final remarks, starting with Malik, the co-host of the show, as we go. I think the next time we'll probably have the show at Lugogo. Ken needs to confirm that because next Thursday will be the start of the action in Zone 5. So we should be having the show at the Lugogo Indoor Stadium. The producer has accepted that. But so I don't know, Malik, if you will be able to play or you have to first fulfill your duties on the show. But how excited are you people about going? Because the next time we have this conversation, the tournament will have started.
Yeah, thank you, Manzi. First of all, the excitement is high, but me personally, I will not be overridden by the excitement because I really know what it means to play out there. And I've been there as a player, and I'm going to be there as a coach again. And this time around, it is to give encouragement to the new players who are actually starting to play such a championship. They should know what to expect, and they should know that this is the time they really need to go and have fun and enjoy the game. Yeah, you're playing against teams you've never actually played, against players you've never met, or players you'll actually never meet again. You never know. So it is time to enjoy that moment when And to the young players, please use this opportunity. Yeah, it doesn't usually happen. Now, for the next time, maybe Uganda thinks about hosting. Most of the players, maybe they will have retired.
And some of the words that you say are really crucial. I remember in 2022, I traveled with Ndeje to Tunisia for the Africa Club Championship. And every once in a while, we would be forced to speak to these players. And I told them that some of you are on this team, but you will never play club championship again. And of course, not to sound bad or anything. And indeed, since that time, Ndeje has never gone back. Some have left Ndeje, others have retired. So you never know when your opportunity will come. It might be in the zone 5. But Mems, in your concluding remarks, I think you're going to help us. I know Sadat mentioned something here, talking about the fact that teams have now been playing in Lugogo, and says that before that, they would get the shock of also playing indoor volleyball because most of the volleyball was outdoor. Now there's an opportunity because we've had some very good action in the indoor. How helpful is that going into a tournament like this?
I think it basically means that all Ugandan teams are going to be playing at their home ground.
Yeah.
So none of us is going to be going in there and be shocked with the indoor and be shocked to say, where should I stand when I'm serving? I think one of the things that really has been exciting is the defenses that we've seen, EMANZI. Yeah. You've been there as well. You've seen how teams are going down for this defense on the surface, you know. So basically, I think it's a step ahead for us, you know. But also part of my excitement as a concluding statement is that I really am hoping that each and every one of us who's in the volleyball family in Uganda is going to bring out their sibling, is going to bring out their friends. I've already booked one of my classes to come to Lugogo. Okay. And that is not only helping for spectators, but also to grow the sport. We need the young ones to see. It's different when kids see and then you teach them the sport. They're like, I know why I'm doing this. I've seen it when I went to watch this tournament, and it will grow our sport in that regard.
Yeah, I think we've got to stop and leave it at that. Next week, the show will be at Lugogo. So maybe you can join us wherever you will be. You can join us in that audience, and you're able to contribute your views as we watch the contests that will be happening at Lugogo. The action for the Zone 5, Lugogo, and the Old Kampala Arena. Those are the two venues that have been selected. And from what I know, you'll be paying 10,000 per day. Per venue. If you go to Old Kampala, you pay 10,000. If you leave Old Kampala and go to Lugogo, you have to get another 10,000. But I think 10,000 for that many matches is not bad business. So for those who love volleyball and sport, call upon every other person that you know that might be interested. Let's support Ugandan teams. My name is EMANZI. Today I was joined by Coach Memory Dube, Coach Malik Damulira, and George APORU, the captain of the national team, the Volleyball Cranes and NEMO Stars. And we are signing out. We'll see you next